Okay, so we're going to start with a fraction. Let's do this one. So x over 2 minus x over 5 equals 3. So we need to find a common denominator so that we can get rid of the fractions, because everyone hates fractions. So often, if you multiply the denominators, you can find the lowest common denominator. In this case, 2 times 5 is 10, right? 10 is divisible by 2, and 10 is also divisible by 5. So the lowest common denominator is 10. So I'm going to multiply everything by 10, because that'll get rid of the fraction. Because 10 divided by 2 is 5. So 10 over 2 gets reduced to 5. Okay, so 5x, because that x came from there. And then 10 divided by 5, right? 10 over 5 gets reduced to 2, right? 10 over 5 is 2. And then we write the x, because that came from there. And then finally, 10 times 3 is 30. So then we have 5x minus 2x is 3x. 3x equals 30. So x finally equals 10, right? Because 3x equals 30. You bring that 3 under, because it was multiplication up here. So then when it comes down, it becomes division. So 30 divided by 3 is 10. So that's your final answer. And if I wanted to check this, I could plug it in. If I plugged in 10 everywhere there was an x, so 10 over 2 minus 10 over 5 equals 3. So we're checking it. 10 over 2 is 5, minus 10 over 5 is 2, 3 equals 3. So it's right. Right? This is the check. This is to check to make sure it was correct. Right? So you plug it in, make sure left side equals right side. So let's try another one. So this time we'll do x over 6 equals 1 over 12 plus x over 8. So our lowest common denominator is a number that all of those will go into. So 48 can be divided by all of those, like evenly. So 48 divided by 6 is 8, 48 divided by 12 is 4, and 48 divided by 8 is 6. So that means our lowest common denominator is 48. So I'm going to times everything by 48. Okay? So now what do you think I have to do? So I'm going to simplify by doing 48 divided by 6. So only the 8 is left over. So 8x, right? Because that x came from there. And instead of writing 48 over 6, I just write 8. Here, it's 48 over 12. And there, it's 48 divided by 8. That's simplified down to 6. So 6x, right? Because that x came from there. So now I have 8x equals 48 divided by 12 is 4, and then plus 6x. I want to collect all like terms on all x's on the left, right? The like terms, and leave my regular number 4 right there where it is. So it'll be 8x minus 6x equals 4. Because this 6x came over, and it was addition, so it becomes subtraction. So 2x equals 4. Bring that 2 under and divide. So x equals 2. Okay? So I did that by finding the lowest common denominator, which was 48, multiplying everything by 48, reducing so that I get no fraction, right? 48 divided by 12 was 4, and 48 divided by 8 is 6. So therefore, I've gotten rid of all my fractions. Okay, let's do another one. So one you could do, let's see here. Let's do x over 2 minus 5x over 6 equals 1 over 9. So we have to find a common denominator, something that these all go into. So you can often find it by multiplying the bottom. So 2 times 9 is 18. So 18 is a possible one. Let's see. 18 divided by 2 is 9. 18 divided by 6 is 3. 18 divided by 9 is 2. So your lowest common denominator is 18 because they all can be divided by 18. So I want you to try this one. I want you to use 18 as your lowest common denominator. And I want you to try to solve this. So I'm just going to stop for a minute. I'm just going to give you a minute. And you're going to write this question down. And you're going to do the first step. So timesing everything by 18. So go ahead and do that. Show the multiplication by 18 for everything. Okay, so I'm going to multiply everything by 18, right? So now pause the video and do the next step. Okay, so you've had a chance to figure it out. So I have to reduce, right? I want to get rid of the fractions. So this 18 and this 2, they cancel out to be 9. So that x came from there. So 9x, and then that 18 and that 6 cancel out to be 3. That negative sign came from there. So 18 divided by 6 is 3. Don't forget though, right? You still have to multiply by 5x. You got 3 from doing 18 divided by 6, but that 5x hasn't gone away. And then finally, 18 over 9, right, which is 2. So I can go directly to writing down 2. 18 over 9 is 2. So I've got 9x minus 15x, because 3 times 5x is 15x, equals 2. So 9x minus 15x is negative 6x equals 2. So finally, what would x equal? I'll give you a minute. Just pause the video and figure out what x would equal. It's a fraction. Give me the lowest fraction. Okay, so the negative 6 would have to come under because it goes from multiplication to division. So 2 over negative 6. I always leave the answer with the negative up top. So negative 2 over 6. And I want the lowest possible fraction. Divide them both by 2. Right? And I get 1/3. So your final answer is negative 1/3. Okay? So let's try another one. Let's try one that's a tiny bit trickier. So I've got x over 3 plus x minus 2 over 5 equals 6. So my lowest common denominator is, well, you can find it by doing 3 times 5, right? Because 15 divided by 3 is 5, and 15 divided by 5 is 3. So 15 works. So your lowest common denominator is 15. So now go ahead and show that you're timing everything by 15. So pause the video and show that everything's being times by 15. Okay, so hopefully yours looks like this. Everything has been times or multiplied by 15. Okay, so that 15 and that 3 cross out. I should have made that blue. that 15 and that 3 cross out to be 5, right? 15 over 3 is 5. So 5x plus that 15 and that 5 becomes 3, right? And then multiply it by everything in that bracket, right? Because it's has to be the 3 has to be multiplied to everything in there. And then 15 times 6 is 90. So if you can get to this point, you should know how to do this, right? I got the 5 from doing 15 divided by 3. I got this 3 from doing 15 divided by 5. I'm just reducing to get rid of fractions. And finally, I got the 90 by doing 15 times 6. So now pause and do the next step, right? The next step would require getting rid of the brackets. And to get rid of the brackets, we all know that we do distributive law or rainbow rule. So do that. Pause the video and do that. Okay, so you hopefully have this as your next step. 3 times x is 3x. 3 times negative 2 is negative 6 equals 90. So now you're collecting like terms. You're doing 8x equals that negative 6 came over and adds on the other side. Right? So now it's 96. So 8 comes over and divides. So x equals 12. Because 96 divided by 8 is 12. Okay? So that's how you use lowest common denominators to get rid of fractions. Now you're going to work on the worksheet that has been given to you today, and the answers are on the back. Okay?